Hey, my Topaz mathematicians, this is Mrs. Visconti, and I'm about to show you how to do a double digit times a double digit using the place value method. All right, so first we analyze our problem, and we break each digit down into its individuals. We have tens and ones, 20 and 4, and then here we have 30 and 6. We have those broken down because we are going to label our rectangle with these numbers. So draw our rectangle. Now we divide it evenly into 4, and we just make sure we have it labeled properly. So I'm going to take my first number, my 20 and 4, and I'm going to label across the top 20 plus 4. I know because it is a rectangle that the opposite sides are parallel and equal, so I also have a 20 and a 4 on the opposite sides. For our next number, it is 30 and 6, so I'm going to label now going down my sides of 30 and 6. And again, because I know the rules of geometry and I know my shapes, I know that the opposite sides are equal. So I now have each side labeled, and what I'm asking my students to do is that I would like them to go to each corner and multiply each corner. So this corner square is 30 times 20. This corner square is 4 times 30. This corner square is 6 times 4. And this corner square is 20 times 6. Now that I have my equations in place, I know that I have to have 4 equations because I have 4 digits, 1 in each place. And I'm going to go ahead and multiply inside of each rectangle. So 3 times 2 is 6. And I take my zeros and I put it in my new number. 4 times 3 is 12. I take my 0 and I add it to my new number. 2 times 6 is 12. And I crossed off the 2, but I meant to cross off the 0. That is also 12, which has a 0 in the ones place. And then 4 times 6 is 24. Now I know that whatever I pull apart, I must put back together. So off to the side here now, I'm going to move back up. I'm going to take these numbers and create an addition problem, writing out all 4 products and adding them back together. In my ones place, I have a 4, then I have 2, 4, 6, and I have 6, 7, 8. 864 is the answer to 24 times 36. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you one more example. Here we go, starting with the number 14 times 57. Once again, we start from the beginning. We analyze our problem by breaking them down into their tens and ones. I have 1 10 and a 4. Here I have 5 tens or 50 and a 7. I am now ready to draw my rectangle and to label it. I just break my rectangle into 4 squares because I have 4 digits that need to label each side. I take each group of digits to label. So I have a 10 over one rectangle and a 4 over the other to represent the tens and the ones. And again, because I do know my rectangles, I know that the opposite sides are parallel, so the opposite sides will also be 10 and 4. I take my next group of numbers and I label down the sides with 50 plus 7. And again, because I know my rectangle rules, I know that the opposite side is parallel and equal. I now have all my sides labeled, so I am now going to go from corner to corner. And I'm going to create my 4 equations. And I have 4 equations because I have 4 digits in 4 different places. I have 2 10s, 2 1s, 2 10s, 2 1s. And then each side is labeled with the 2 10s and the 2 1s. All right, so here we go. We have 50 times 10, 4 times 50, 7 times 4, and 10 times 7. All right, now I am ready to multiply. So I multiply my first area. 5 times 1 is 5. I have my 2 zeros. I place them in my tens and my ones. 4 times 5 is 20. And I place the other 0 in my ones place. 7 times 4 is 28, and then 10 times 7 is 70. I pulled it apart, now I must put it back together, so I'm going to scoot up here and I'm going to create my addition problem, starting with 500, then 200, and 70, and 28, and I am going to use addition to put them back together. An easy method to remember the addition is right here in the center of my rectangle is actually a big plus sign, so you're going to add those all back together. Okay, so in my ones place is an 8, 7, 8, 9, and then my last place is a 7. So the answer to 14 times 57 is 798. All right, memorize those multiplication facts. It'll make everything else much, much easier and go much faster. And remember to go step by step, first breaking down, then labeling, then multiplying, and then adding back together. Students, I will see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a great night. Enjoy.